According to McKinsey and Company, African consumer spending will hit a staggering $5.6 trillion by 2025. Now, signs of the continent's spending binge are already showing as high-end offerings like hair transplant and restoration centers are surfacing. While in Kinshasa, I spoke to Patrick Mamba, who's a surgeon, one of the best in the world, with My World Hair Transplant Center on the exotic offerings. Take a look.
I do believe hair loss is really something that is spread in everybody. And hair characteristic of black, it's so hard that every time people were seeking for solution, they were kind of pushed out, telling them it's impossible to treat because skin in black, when you do the surgery, you can have keloids, all the complications. So it's so hard that most of the surgeons at that time were kind of pushing them out, saying it's impossible, just live with that. Of course, some of the great athletes like Michael Jordan, they start to shave, and then he becomes a little bit a role model. But every time I was asking black guys, how do you feel about your hair loss? They were kind of, oh man, if I had solution, then I will do that. In 2000, when I joined really the hair practice, I went to a company. I was pretty much the only black. And I found out but why we don't treat black? Oh, it's so hard. I said, but so what's the problem? We have so hard things to do in medicine, but we try to find a solution. Then I started to dedicate myself to treat the blacks. And year after years, we developed a technique because the problem was, as I say, complication like keloid and things like that. But I developed a new procedure where I could take the graft, so the hair, without leaving a scars. So black could also keep their role model and get back the hair. And then when I implement that, I started to treat a black patient. It took a time, developing tools and everything. And now I felt oh, I'm kind of ready because I had a bunch of people were coming from London, the US. But then Africa was kind of, we have a lot of guys in Africa and I'm from Congo. So I was kind of asking them, we can do that. And of course, hair surgery is very expensive. But there is a category of people that can afford it. So I was kind of, are you interested in? Yes. And then I also realized that women in Africa, they treat badly their hair. All the relaxers and all the hot combs, and they were losing hair without knowing why. And then I just found out hey, we can help them because they don't have genetic problems. So we have to educate them and do the surgeries. And women spend a lot of money. When you look at really black women, when it comes to hairspray, hair relaxer, they spend a lot of money, but they're destroying their hair. So now we got to kind of prevent them to get to that point. So to introduce what I call the prevention, so to educate women to use and to treat the hair safely and right. And then for those who are already lost the hair, to come up with the surgery. And the solution is there, very natural, and that's what's really triggered me. Yeah.
One last question before you go. People are talking about a system or a structure here in Congo that is not as regulated or properly formulated as where you're from, as European markets or American markets. But what would you say to that? That might be one of the biggest financial implications to your business.
I do believe when you come in a country like this where of course the regulation is a little bit different and what I think, the only thing is just you have to go them slowly and to kind of integrate what we do over there and start to adapt that here. And I will say, of course, in my case, it's so easy because most of them were coming to Europe. So they know a little bit how it works and how I work. And then I'm telling them hey, I can bring the same concept. So they buy to that. And then that's the way it's easy for me to kind of land in this area with that knowledge. Of course, it will not be for the entire population, but slowly the education will be for everybody. Actually, for a normal procedure, it costs around 15,000 euro to 20,000 euro. So which makes $16,000
Right.
like for a small case, and it can go up even to 30,000.
But the process, is it for just that particular process, or do you have a range of services that you provide?
No, there's a range of services.
Right.
Because
and all of that is minimum of 16,000.
no, only the hair surgery. All the other processes are affordable. Like we're using sometimes the blood because in our body, because like what makes the hair fall, it's inflammation. We create in our own body inflammation, and then we can treat that with certain diet and foods. And now what I'm trying to do is to advise patients to use that type of diet, use some proteins that protect the hair. And that is affordable. It's just like your food that we eat, spinach, you can eat nuts, and those things have vitamins and antioxidants that protect your hair. And those measures will prevent you to get the problem. And then let's say they want to do like braiding the hair because I say, oh, I want to go to the, to the wedding, but I cannot braid my hair. They can still do the relaxer. But when you do that, then you know that, hey, let me take also some vitamins on some type of food that will prevent my hair to get weak. So, but that is affordable because they eat every day. They do have those things every day. But then it protects them to get to the point where they lose the hair. And then they avoid the surgery. But you have to do that before. Otherwise, if you do that too late, then you have to pay really the big money. But if you start before and you get the proper way to do that,